Now let's take a look at cabinet layout. Begin with, let me give you a quick look at the room. This camera is the camera that's inside the Leica, and this camera is attached to the Leica, so I can just kind of give you a quick tour of the room. So come around this way. There's a door. There's a little section in here. Come on farther around, and we're back where we were looking at. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to shoot an x-axis, which is basically, you can think of this as orienting the construction plane to a certain direction so that that direction becomes the top of our page. So I'm going to set the x-axis. It tells me to select 2 points. Come up here. 1 point on that wall. Getting a nice wide throw. Another point on that wall. What we have at this point is we've created a working plane at its eye level, and that plane is now pointing to that wall, which will be the top of our screen when we're drawing it. But I want to extrude this room up, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this construction plane, and I'm going to move it parallel to where it is, down to the floor level. Plane, I'm going to right click here, I'm going to go to parallel. It tells me to shoot a point on the parallel plane, which is going to be in this case the floor. And we'll shoot that point. So now what we've done is we've lowered the construction plane to the floor so as we build the perimeter of the room, which we're going to do using straight lines. Alright, so we're going to start over there. Shoot a point. Over here and shoot a point. And now that line is on the floor because that's the construction plane that we're working with. And now that you've kind of seen what I'm doing, I'm going to let you see the drawing program as we go around. This particular wall is very short because it doesn't have the other side of the door is flush on the other wall. And continue to come around and get all of our walls. And one more wall. It's all math. So in order to see it extrude up, I want to put it in a isometric view, and I can change my viewpoint, my perspective here. I'm going to change it to, in this case, isometric. But if I wanted to look at it from the top view, we're back where we were, I can use my view change to look at the back view, which in this case is going to be a flat line. In a few minutes, it'll be a room. I'm going to go back to isometric view. And the other piece of information that I need to know is how high the ceiling is. We're going to use our Z-depth tool. The Z-depth will give us the distance from the construction plane on the floor to the point we shoot on the ceiling. I'm going to connect to the digitizer. I'm going to point it on the ceiling. Take that point. Point is 107.076 inches, and it's stored to the clipboard automatically. So now when I go to my extrusion tool, let's move this out of the way. It wants to know, what do I want to extrude? So I want to extrude all displayed, all. See everything turned orange. I'm going to accept that. It wants to know the number of copies. I'm going to hit enter. I just want one copy. I don't want to make any changes to the x-axis, no changes to the y-axis. I'm just hitting enter, enter. On this space, I'm going to right click and hit paste. I'm going to accept that. And you can see that we've extruded our walls now up to the ceiling. I'm going to escape from my extrusion tool, or my X-form delta join. Put everything back in focus. This up out of my way. And you can see that the height of this wall is 107 inches. So now we've got our three-dimensional room. But before we proceed any further, since we're going to do this room as a cabinet layout room, I'm going to go to the cabinet layout function, Again, I'm going to move this down out of my way, hopefully. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3D room, I'm going to create it into a file format that's acceptable to the various types of cabinet layout tools that we use, which are under export. You can see they're the Cabinet Vision 2020, Kitchen Design, and Pro Kitchen. So first thing I'm going to do is create. And I'm going to set the wall thickness. In this case, since it's a Cabinet Vision room, I'm going to leave it at 4 inches. I'm going to hit enter. Select all the bottom edges of the extruded walls, and I have to do those in the same order that I shot them. So I shot them starting here. Go around just one click on each wall to identify it as the perimeter. And I'm going to accept that. And you can see that my arrows are all moving out. So we've done that successfully. You can use this tool, the rotate tool, to kind of move it around and get an idea of what's going on. The first wall that I identified, the first wall that I shot, becomes automatically the de facto working plane. So if I want to move it to this back wall, get out of that tool, I'll go back to select. All I have to do is hit the floor line. And let me spin it around so you can see that. See, that's my construction plane now. Let's get this up out of the way. All right, let's move this down a little bit then. There we go. Okay, let me get out of that tool. I'm using this area in order to put on features that can be read in any of the cabinet layout tools, including Cabinet Vision. I'm going to use this icon right here for digitizing cabinet features. And I'm going to right click on that, and you can see I can do a door, a window, a switch, an outlet, and plumbing. In this case, I'm going to be doing a window. And we're on this back wall. So I'm going to bring up the camera so you can see what I'm doing that way. Yep, cameras. Okay, so I'm now going to shoot this window. And in order to create the window, I'm going to shoot opposite corners of the window. Now in this case, I can't quite see that window because there's this soffit thing in the way. But since this is a planar geometry and that back wall is the construction plane I'm working on, if I hit a point on that ceiling, I'm standing where I can see directly towards that window, and I can shoot that point and it will drop to the wall. And then I can shoot this point down here. And let's take a look at our drawing real quick so you can see what's going on there. I think I can get there. So you can see I've got both these windows put up. I want to come over to this wall because this wall has some doors on it. I want to show you doing some doors. So I'm going to bring up my cabinet layout tool. I'm going to hit select again. I'm going to hit this wall. It now becomes my construction plane. Bring up a view so you can see what I'm doing with the camera. Now when I shoot a door, let's make sure I'm in the door tool. I'm in the window tool. So we're going to go to the door as a feature. When I'm shooting a door, all that I need to do is shoot the top 2 corners of the door because the cabinet layout systems all know that a door goes to the floor. And one more over here. And we'll look at the drawing. And you can see I just shot these 2 points and it dropped me a door down. Now I've also got on that same wall, let me move this over to them. I've got, I think you can see, an outlet. And if I bring up this view, you can see it even better. In order to shoot an outlet, I'm going to right click on my feature set again. I'm going to go down to outlet. And I'm going to shoot the opposite corners of the outlet. And I've also got a little plumbing fixture here, indication of one. Now again, to show another feature, I'm going to go to plumbing, and I'm going to hit 3 points around that circle. And that will create my plumbing feature. There's my pipe. So that's how I would go around the room and continue to build features on each individual wall. At this point, I'm going to go back to the cabinet layout tool, and I'm going to export this, in this case in a cabinet vision layout. And you'll see it's creating an ORD file, and we'll call this John's Kitchen. Save that. And now we've exported that as an ORD file, which Cabinet Vision can open, and Cabinet Vision will interpret each of the features that we put in as those features. It'll look like it in Cabinet Vision. So you'll have all the walls properly dimensioned, all the features on the walls not only properly dimensioned, but in the right configuration of the feature.